Truth is absolute.
Heart.
Exhilarating hearts.
America.
Reawakening America.
Good day, U.S. of A. We're here to affirm truth is absolute, tell stories that accelerate the heart, and reawaken the good people of America. This is Comer and Way. Well, hello, America. Welcome back to another Comer and Way.
Welcome back.
Man, I tell you what, Dave, I had a good time over the holidays. It was good to see the family, but I definitely came back here looking forward to the new year.
Yeah, me too. We had a great Christmas. I have a lot of family in Colorado Springs area-ish, so we just jump houses. And sometimes we do it in one day. Sometimes we do it over the course of multiple days, which is what we did this week. So that was really fun. And I got a bonus this year, too, because some cousins were in town that I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
So I got to see cousins that I was probably around 6 or 7 when I saw him last.
No kidding.
With his children. So that was pretty cool.
Right on. You know, we're right here at the new year. Good things about last year. There were some bad things. I learned from that, and I'm going to put the past behind me.
Right.
You know, it's, so many people get caught up in what went wrong that they go into the next year worrying about what else is going to happen.
Yeah, true.
I don't want to make that same mistake again of being, wasting another year focused on what didn't happen or what did happen in the past. So I want to choose to look forward, and I want to choose to focus on what good I can do this next year, Dave. I've learned some things, I'm applying some things, and I am going to move ahead, putting an expectation out there and doing my absolute best to go to that end.
That's a good plan. It's a good plan. Looking forward. I believe God's mercies are renewed every day. And sometimes every morning you should wake up and go, okay, the past is the past. But a new year, I think it's important to put a bigger stake in the ground.
Yeah.
And go, I'm done with that. I'm going to take what's good with me and I'm going to move forward and have big goals. And I think God's a promoter. I don't think God's a guy that tries to hinder you in any way. He always wants you to go higher and better and better and better, right? So
Yeah.
I think God's a promoter. So I look forward to going into the next year expecting greater, better things that I'm already working out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I expect things to work out easier. I expect more health. I expect better relationships. And I expect, you know what I'm saying? Just everything to be a step better.
Right.
So, and I think it's good to just take that moment like you're talking about. Remember what is. Put that stake in the ground and then take a step. I've reached this peak. Now it's time to go to that next one.
And go to the next one. To bottom line it, Dave, I just want to be kind of a better version of myself this year.
Yeah.
In all areas, and mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. It's I just want to become that best version that God sees me as.
It's so true because you can look at things in your life and go, well, I've slacked there a little bit. I've slacked there a little bit. I'm going to not slack here.
Yeah.
You don't have to take over the world.
No.
Just make a little course correction.
And that's all what it is. It's just taking each day. It's just a course correction. Okay, yesterday, man, I messed up. Okay, move on.
Just because there's stuff you don't like one year, it's up to you how you respond to what happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a bad year, even if bad things happen.
Right.
And so much of society is depressed because they put too much value in what happens to them and not enough value on simple things like, what if you put your joy in that the sun came up every day? You'd have to have joy every day, right? But if you put joy in that, if only good things can happen to me before 10 a.m., I'll have a good day. It's not the way to go. I say put joy in something that is going to be true every day.
Yeah.
Do I wake up breathing? Well, then I'll have joy.
That's a good point. It's so many people, they base their happiness on an outcome versus basing their happiness on what it is that they have already.
Yeah, yeah.
I sit down and count my blessings, and those blessings are, man, I got a nice warm bed and go home at night.
Yeah.
I got a nice hot shower in the morning.
Yeah.
That first sip of coffee in the morning. Oh, man, that's the best.
And once you get going, you could go forever.
Yeah.
Once you start counting them.
And it's just a shift. It's just that tiny little change in the way you think. And so many people, they base their welfare, their emotional, their life upon their perception of what reality is.
Yeah.
Something that may happen to you that you think is bad, in the end, it could be the very best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak personally towards that.
True.
The very worst thing that ever happened to me ended up being the very best thing because of the lesson that I learned from it. And it's adjusting your perception of reality versus the truth.
Yeah. You got to be careful with that because I've heard of similar stories from other people that had some terrible thing happen, but after all the things were worked out, it ended up they were better off.
Yeah.
Like it happened to me. I was laid off once, but I kept a good attitude. And now from that position, I'm better off than I was. But there was a struggle for a period of time and it looked bad. How do you keep your mind and your emotions under control and your focus right so that you don't focus on the negative and how things are now? You're looking towards the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know how many people, they think a good thing it would be to win the lottery.
Yeah.
The statistics show that over 95% of those who won the lottery are worse off.
95%.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah. It's a high number.
I played lottery once and never even checked the numbers.
Never checked the number. So, Dave, what's maybe one thing that you want to see this year?
2019, something I want to see is I want to see my relationship with God go to the next level and be more confident in that.
Can I ask, what does that next level look like for you? Can you articulate what that would be?
Well, I would say right now, it's not as focused on a relationship with God as it should be. Sometimes it's really focused, and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, there's God. Oh yeah, there's a Bible. I want it to be more of a dominant part of my life to where, I'm looking to weed out something to get more of it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So instead of it just being something that pops up into my mind, it's something I'm looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm on a similar level there too. It's like when I am aware of him and his presence, I make the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't keep myself aware.
I get distracted.
Exactly. You get distracted by life and by work and everything going on. And it's like, I remember, courting a lady. It was like I shifted my whole life to make an opportunity to be with her.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's the exact same thing I want to do with God. It's like I want to shift my whole entire life till I have an opportunity to spend time.
Yeah. One thing the Muslims do is they base their entire life around their religion. So their actions there's prayer time where everybody does it. It's like their whole life is centered around this. And that's where Christians don't necessarily put that much emphasis into it, and we should.
A lot of Christians can learn from Muslims.
True. There's a lot to learn from Muslims.
How devoted they are. I mean, if we had enough people devoted to, God, Jesus Christ, and, fostering his kingdom, things would look a lot different here.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Christians, I'd like to see this. I like to see Christians stand up because Christians have been passive and they've been focused on like the top 5 teaching principles in the Bible. And I don't think we really get into the meat and the issues of today. I'm not discounting forgiveness and salvation, but I'm saying that like pastors are the leaders of most of the Christians. So they should help aim our knowledge towards some current events,
Yeah.
So I had a thought once, like, what if we asked the Christians, like, what are the most important issues of the day, and then we would look at the pastors' outlines that they're getting. Are they meeting the needs of those people, If people think the biggest issues of the day is to build a wall, where's the pastor bringing scripture into that or something?
Yeah.
Where are those needs being met? And I think it's not happening,
I think you're totally right on that, Dave. It's like so many pastors are just focused on keeping their flock happy. They're just they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to say anything that's going to bring any conflict or any animosity.
Yeah.
And that goes against the very nature of what a pastor should be. He should be, if he truly loved his congregation, he would equip them with the word of God to go out there and wrestle with these current day issues with the truth.
And he doesn't need to be focused on trying to keep everybody.
Yeah.
He needs the people that are going to stand for the truth.
Yeah.
And if you're not that person, there's other churches for you, you know?
Right.
And part of the thing is we have a president now who wants to stand with the Christians, but he's not the leader.
No.
He needs Christians to stand up and come behind and enter the door he opened. And we as Christians need to raise up leaders that can step in and take the work from him.
That's exactly right, Dave. We've got an opportunity here. Donald Trump is not the one who's going to lead us through that.
No.
Donald Trump is the one who's getting government out of the way for us to stand up.
Yep. He's stopping the religious oppressions. He listens to the Christians. Like if you tweet him or send him an email, he'll read it. He listens. He wants to be part of it. But we can't just sit back and hope that he's going to be the savior. He's not the savior.
Right.
He just opened a door. God raised up a leader to give Christians an opportunity to take whatever they want back for their nation.
Because God and history has been taken out of our culture and our society, America's forgotten who she is.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't understand that God has handcuffed himself to work through us, through mankind. And so any good that's going to get done is through his followers.
Right.
If you truly followed, if you were a true Christian, you would stand.
You'd have to.
You have to. You have to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he will not work outside of mankind.
No.
It's the same thing with the enemy. He will not do anything outside of using a human being. You know, and I get into this. It's like so many people say, oh, we got to pray for revival. We got to do all. And I say, you are the revival.
Right.
You are the miracle. Right. You are God.
Make a difference out there, and you will be the revival.
Yeah.
Run for office and change that school district.
Exactly.
It's pushing something you don't agree with.
Exactly.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
That's happened. I mean, my dad will even say, hey, man, it was my fault. I didn't participate.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm like, dude, that's it. Participate now.
Now. Yeah, exactly. You can start now. Yes.
It's cool. And he does. And my family votes mostly. But, you know, I mean, we voted in a president that we didn't know what we were really going to get.
Right.
He said the right things, but you never know what you're going to get in office.
Yeah.
And, you know, I believe the second half of 2018, we kind of entered a time of chaos. You know, things got crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
There are certain factions on either side that kind of went out of control. Certain types of belief systems, they started to push their agendas harder and harder. And I think in going into 2019, it's going to ramp up and get worse.
I think so.
Because I think there's a good thing going on in America, and people are waking up. And when you start to lose, I think you start to flail around and fight harder than you've fought before, you know?
I really believe, I think you said it, is going to be a shakeup.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's going to be something that is going to shake all the junk out there to allow the good people of this country to stand up again, to give them the opportunity to exercise courage and finally stand up.
I think the president's a great leader in that part where we can exercise courage, because when you have someone who's standing up and fighting for something, it's easier for you to stand up and fight too when there's someone doing it. And he has no problem speaking his mind and speaking the truth. And it gives me courage and strength.
Yeah.
And I think other people can do that
Courage
too.
is contagious.
And the chaos is definitely, it's like a shakeup that could and will, I believe, like spawn new growth and raise up new leaders.
Yeah.
I know that's the whole goal, is not for Donald Trump or whatever, or any administration to come in and fix everything.
Right.
It's for people to take back the simple duties that were put in front of them when this nation was created.
Yeah. The only way that our way of life works in this country is for good people to work.
Yeah.
Government was never meant to handle everything that each community was supposed to. The church and the community were supposed to handle the poor, you know, the sick.
Yeah.
The church has relinquished their duty, and now it's given it over to the government to handle all this.
Yeah.
The only thing that government was meant to do was to protect its citizens, to protect our borders.
What?
Maybe with a wall or something.
Wait, is that racist?
No. Gosh. And the second thing was the only thing was to deliver the mail.
Right. Oh, wow.
I mean, that's what federal government was really meant to do. Military and mail. That was it.
It's funny that one of their main things was to deliver mail because there's so many outside entities that do it way better.
And that, it just goes to show you that, look at how bad the federal government does both now.
Yeah.
If
you want something done, don't give it to the government.
The point is, Dave, that the only thing that gets changed in this country is if good people unite towards the common good. Government is not meant to fix everything. One guy was not meant to change everything.
No.
I mean, we've got an opportunity right now because you said Donald Trump is there now getting the government out of the way for us to stand up.
Yeah.
If we don't take this opportunity, I think we're really done for.
I agree. And I mean, the left is out there and they're putting their opinions and goals and ideas out there. And Christians, I don't feel like really are.
Right.
And that's where you see the chaos come in, is because we look at the news and we see Donald Trump tweets this, and the left says this, and this, and all this, and deranged, and blah, 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 and stuff, and stuff. And really it looks like chaos, but really it's a shakeup,
Yeah.
I think as we go into 2019, we'll see the nations even separate even more because people are going to have to either follow and become like a sheep and follow the groupthink, or they're going to have to wake up and see the corruption for what it is and take a side. And that's where they become powerful, is when you're educated.
Yeah.
And you can now say, hey, I see this for what it is, and now you really got to take a side.
Yep.
It's powerful.
I think, what did God say? He says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge.
Yeah. Get informed. It's important. You've seen a lot of people starting to wake up. Our homosexual friends and a lot of the black community with the walk away movement, they're coming out. They're starting to see difference. And it's us, the Christians, that need to embrace them and say, come to us. We are here for you.
Yep.
There's waking up, but unfortunately it's not Christians at this point.
You've touched on a point that really needs to be stressed, that right now we have an opportunity to embrace people and to encourage and disciple them to what the truth is. And the more voices that we have who are speaking the truth, man, I tell you, this is where the change happens. It's interesting how God spoke everything into existence, and he gave us the exact same ability with the spoken word.
Yeah.
And how everything is attacked with words.
Yeah, definitely.
How good is being called bad is being called good.
Yeah.
And you just fought a battle yourself, how your voice was being attacked.
Yeah.
Because we've made this deal to where we're going to start speaking the truth.
Yep.
And it's just interesting to me how I see people who are on stage or people who really get it and who are making their voices heard, they come under attack.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
should tell you that you're doing the right
You're
thing.
on the right track. That's true. Very true. That inspires me. You shouldn't be inspired from having like a throat cold or whatever, but it inspires me because it, like you pointed out, it proves that like the enemy wants to stop what you're doing. Once he catches wind of it, and he's going to attack that area.
Right.
So the enemy is going to attack where you're working.
Yeah. Yeah, he's attacking that tool that you're using.
Exactly. Yeah, the tool. That's a good way to put it. The tool. And we can't let ourselves get down. We just got to fight. And if it takes 20 rounds, fight 20 rounds.
Yeah.
It's not always a one-round battle.
You got it, Dave.
So,
Well, Dave, I'm really excited about this year. I mean, we're really getting started with the show, and I really believe what we're doing here is going to make changes in people who choose to listen. I want us to become a voice that people can draw inspiration and encouragement from.
Yeah.
I think this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's showing that, hey, you're not alone out there. I want to encourage and disciple other people to become a voice in their community and in their world, so that we can inspire them to go out and talk to their friends and their family and their neighbors, and be like little candles being lit all across the country. And then all of a sudden, this light will start emanating.
Yeah. It's true. It's like for us, like we'll continue doing shows, and I encourage audience members that are listening, maybe consider starting your own show.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I only know 5 people. Well, maybe those are 5 people that could make a difference.
Yeah.
And, again, we're speaking to our friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I think is super important is to make history great again.
That's right.
William Federer's got some great books. Dave Barton's got some great books and websites to where there's a lifetime of information you could just read for free.
Yeah. I want to make one point about history, Dave. It's those who refuse to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I think that is why God and history are being taken out of our society, is because if people truly knew how history really happened, how our country was formed, that God was behind all of this, it would show them that it is the people of this country who hold the authority and the power.
Yeah.
See, if you take away that knowledge from the people don't know who they are. And so they just accept the status quo. They accept that it's government that has the authority. Our history is the story of how God inspired the hearts of people. There is no other country like this on earth. We are the last and great experiment, and this is the last best hope for mankind.
That's so true. And if we knew, like in history, how other nations fell and how other nations got into a situation where millions were murdered, if we knew the routes, you'd notice that we're on that road.
We're headed directly that same
and
route.
We need to stop.
Yeah.
Like I saw someone holding a sign that says, I want full communism because I want equality for all. What you really mean is you want to be 6 feet under.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens.
Yeah, that's the only way you're going to be equal.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, God is no respecter of persons. I mean, what does it say in the Declaration that says all men, meaning mankind, were created equal? It does not say that all men will have an equal outcome.
Yeah.
But all men are created equal.
And with God on your side, you should prosper.
Yeah. You and God are a majority, Dave.
You're right.
You could look at examples of history. One is just Moses.
Yeah.
Look what he did. He led over 1 million people out of slavery, and they crossed through a sea.
Oh, wow. That's little. That's no.
That's a fairy tale.
Yeah. Little task. It's a big deal. It's like if you align yourself with God, you'll go through things and God will influence your life and blow your mind.
Yeah. I think a lot of Christians, the reason why they don't stand up, they don't see themselves as that.
They don't see themselves as a Moses.
Yep. They don't see themselves that them and God are a majority.
Yeah.
A human being who is completely submitted to God, he can do wonders with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so it shows you the power of individuality.
Yeah. I want to close out with a question. So on the platforms we post on, you can comment. I just want to know, the listeners, what is your take on next year? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen, good or bad? I don't care. I just want to know what you guys are thinking. So leave a comment, leave a like, leave an opinion. It'd be good to know because I think we're moving into 2019. It's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
It'll be a battle, but we can win battles.
Yeah.
Right? So I look forward to it.
Me too. I mean, it was like, I encourage people to sit down, make a heart check. Question, what it is that you really believe and what it is that you're hoping for and expecting. Write down the blessings that you have been given. Write down what you want to see for the next year and put it out there.
Yeah.
Give yourself something to shoot for.
Yeah. Count your blessings. And I bet it's a high number.
Well, America, you're the reason why we're doing this. You're the reason that we're putting the effort and the work into making our voices heard. And we just want to encourage you, find out what the truth is.
America, thanks for listening.
Until next time.